this is also kind of interesting. So last year, Elijah Moore, the guy the Browns just traded for, averaged 3.1 yards of separation and was given an average cushion of 6.1 yards by defenders, both metrics higher than any of the wide receivers on the Browns last season. And that kind of gets at the heart of when I say easy yards, those are easy yards. If they're playing 6 yards off of Elijah Moore, he's getting 4 yards, even if you have an all-pro coming up to tackle him.
And you know what that tells you, right? If guys are averaging that much of a cushion on him, is that they know he's cold, right? Like, that's what that means. They know that he's good because they're trying to not get beat by him, right? If they don't think your wide receiver is very good or it can beat them, and I think there are certain players where you see, guys don't really give them a cushion that much. This is something to where you can do stuff, make plays off that cushion. You could design stuff around the cushion that he's going to get. And also it indicates that, hey, maybe Elijah Moore and his production had a lot more to do with the play at quarterback that he had more than his individual ability to get open. And in a city that went through the Odell Beckham thing, I don't know how we can be lost on that. We have the least excuse to be lost on the ideal that a wide receiver might still be good. It's just we ain't utilizing him. I don't know.
6 yards of cushion, if you see that as Deshaun Watson, he's getting the ball every time. That's the other thing. There will be plays where that's what was kind of missing from his game last year.
You can run stuff underneath that, right? Where it's like, if he's going to get 6 yards of cushion, then he can run something deep. So put him on a 9, and then we can run it out underneath it on 3rd and short to get something open. Like, that is the true definition of, like, hey, how other wide receivers can help other guys get open. You could put Amari Cooper in the slot, and now all of a sudden that guy has to make a decision. Do I want to give Elijah Moore this cushion? Do I want to play up so that I can take Amari if he comes across in my zone? Like, there's a lot more to consider when you have a guy who can scare you off the line of scrimmage and with his route running ability and athleticism. And that's what Elijah Moore brings to this offense. And I think the production will follow that if he has chemistry with Deshaun Watson.
All right. This is another thing to take a look at. This is from Tyler Johnson. Elijah Moore's offensive alignment. So 2022 played more snaps outside than in the slot, but pretty even. 2021, his rookie year when he was really effective, significantly more snaps outside than in the slot. He can play both roles, and you can be sure Kevin Stefanski will use him in both roles because think of the one thing you can't argue about. Kevin Stefanski got as much as you can get out of Baker Mayfield, and he got really good production out of Jacoby Brissett last year. So give him an elite quarterback with a guy like Elijah Moore. Let's see what this looks like.
You can argue, like, when he's been given whatever he's been given, like Kirk Cousins back to his year in Minnesota, you can argue that every year he's been with the guy that they've gotten their best production and their most efficient production under Kevin Stefanski. Now, it's a little bit different with Deshaun because with Deshaun, he kind of has his own rules in place too, right? With those other two, you can make them do whatever it is that you needed them to do to be decent in this system. With Deshaun, it's like more of a collaboration, right? And some guys are really good at creating, but not collaborating. Some guys are good at both, and some guys are only really good at collaborating, right? So you want to see if Andrew can collaborate and make something happen with the talent that's there. There's really no indication to me that he can't do that because he's done similar stuff before. I mean, Kirk Cousins is held at a higher tier of quarterback. I'm pretty sure he thinks of himself as a higher tier than I would personally grant him, but that's somebody that you kind of had to collaborate with in Kirk Cousins. So, I think that is something to look for. But also, the point still remains. Like, this is a dude who clearly has shown that he has the knowledge of football enough to be able to get more out of quarterbacks than what the average man can get. And if you give him a better than average quarterback, then you might get really, really good results.